Okay, so this is part three of me being detained by ICE. So, as I was saying before, at one point, it wasn't even being locked up that was the issue anymore. It was dealing with the actual people. Another thing is the medical conditions there. So, yes, we do get facilitated in getting medications and stuff. But half the time, the medications are late. Sometimes they don't have the medication that you need. And sometimes, for example, when I was there, my cut, one day I was showering. But once I finished showering, I always try to dry my incision. When I was drying the incision, there were traces of blood. Bear in mind, this was probably 8, 9 weeks after the actual incision. So I was a bit worried. But I wasn't like worried as, oh, I'm going to die worried, but worried as in, oh, this might get infected worried. So all I wanted to do was get some ointment to rub on my cut to make sure that it doesn't get infected. When I went to Medicina and asked them to look at it for me, when she looked, there was no blood. Of course, it was not bleeding like a river, but there was traces of blood. So she told me, oh, it's not bleeding, whatever. Before I left out of that room, I turned to her and I said, well, even if the blood isn't there right now, it was there when I finished showering. So can I get some ointment? I was denied the ointment. She did not give me any ointment to rub on it. My cut kept bleeding for like 3 to 4 days after because every time I took a shower and I wiped it, there were still traces of blood. Um, let's talk not so much about me right now, but I'm gonna give you the experiences of some persons in there. So, for example, there was this lady, I'm not gonna call her name, she's Jamaican. She has problems with her veins. One night we were there and one of her veins popped open. Like there was BOOD spreading everywhere. It was just spraying everywhere because her vein popped. Initially, they told her that she was going to be sent out to surgery. And then after a few days, they took it back. How is it that someone is having major issues with their vein and you said, okay, we're going to schedule you to go outside to be seen by a better doctor so that they can do a surgery on you to fix the problem. And then they take that back. They don't care, right? They just don't. They pretend to care, but they don't care. There's an older lady. She's also Jamaican. That woman had a DV, a domestic violence charge from 18 years ago. And this is a woman, she's an older woman. She's in her 60s. Acts like she's in her 20s. I love that lady. But she's an older woman. This lady is a green card holder. She had a domestic violence charge 18 years ago. She did her time, whatever it was to be done from all the way back then. This is a woman that travels the world. So I must shut up some of you guys who keep talking about, oh, it's persons who are undocumented that are being targeted. That's a whole lie. The media lies. So she was picked up when she was coming back from a funeral that she attended in Jamaica. And she was being charged with arriving as an alien, as an undocumented alien, or as an alien, something of the sort. The lady has her green card. She's been traveling in and out of the country for years. So I guess because of whatever happened in January, it just changed a lot. And persons who were safe are no longer safe. Persons are being taken up by mistake. And those persons who are taken up by mistake, even though they're going to release them at some point, it's like, oh, you weren't born here. Nah, we don't care. You're going to sit and do time regardless of if we're going to release you. You're going to go through the trauma. We don't care. This whole thing is a money-making thing. This whole thing is dehumanizing because I can honestly say that I went through it, but I got through it way better than some persons because, for one, some persons have to sit and wait for months for a court date, like myself. But some persons aren't even eligible to be given voluntary departure. So they just have to sit and wait for 6 months, 9 months just to get a court date, just for them to tell them that they're going to deport them. I was lucky. That baby that I had before this whole ordeal is a blessing. Because of him is why I can be here right now free telling you guys about the whole ordeal. I was given that voluntary departure on the basis of going home so that I could get my child, so that I could continue to breastfeed. Okay? There are persons in there who just have to sit and wait for months just for a court date, just to be deported. So I guess when you're in prison, you know when you're leaving, especially if you behave well. But in these detention centers, you will be sitting for an indefinite amount of time. For those who don't understand, it means you will be sitting not knowing when or where, or how you're going to get out of that place, or when or how you're going to get out of that place. Right? I promised the persons there that I was going to come out and shed some light on what's happening. So that's what I'm doing. So for the persons who mean me well and they're saying, don't talk about it, I am sorry. I am the one that went through it. I am the one that was there to experience it with others. So I'm just trying to be brave. Okay? There are women that are being detained right now where their children are being placed into foster care without their consent, because they don't have any family left in the country to take care of their children. So they're just giving up the children to foster care and they're deporting them. There are some persons who the man is in a detention center, the woman is in a detention center. There's nobody to keep their kids and they're just putting them in the foster care system. And when they said, when you think you have it bad, someone else has it worse, at least they know that their kids are being put in the foster care system. There are some women that just don't know where their children are. These women cry on a daily basis. Man, I'm getting emotional now. And I'll go finish that video without getting emotional. But I tell you, my skin right now, it's crawling. Because I witnessed this with my own ears and my own eyes. One morning, I was sleeping and I heard a cry, a scream. And there was this woman at the front of the room, all the way at the front, just sitting there crying, banging her head. Some of the other women, they were upset with her for waking them up. How absurd. Ugh, you guys got on my nerves sometimes. When I got up, I was upset that she woke me up too. But in a split second, I was like, oh my God. And I got out of bed and I went up there and I sat beside her and I hugged her. She doesn't speak English. And she was crying and the only thing I could make out was her saying, bebe, mi bebe, mi bebe. And I hugged her and I said, no comprende. It's to Espanol, mama. But I understand bebe. And I understand tears. Right? She doesn't know where her kids are. She don't know where they're at. These are the experiences of the persons who are being detained. But yet still, I can only see people on social media bashing people, saying, oh, just come home. Some of us are being sent home without our children. When they're sending you home, they don't send you home with a pin that belongs to you. They're stealing the children. They're stealing your stuff. It is just pure evil. So I'm not going to talk a lot more on this. There's a lot to be said, but I think I've said enough. For those who don't understand, I hope that this gives you guys more insight and more understanding on what is happening. It's not just about deportation. It's about trafficking. It's about kidnapping. It's about stealing. It's money making. It's pure evil. And for anybody that wants to rejoice in some of us downfall or want to rejoice, I hope nothing bad in this life ever happens to you. Because bear in mind, today for me and tomorrow for Uno. Ay, ay, ay. I thank